Well, it's another scorching day here in Hungary. So hot, in fact. I mean, yesterday in Budapest, we broke a heat record, at least in one part of the city, where it was 39.6 degrees. My family, like most Hungarians, we don't have air conditioning, so it's really hot in our flat, and our kids were out of control. So we brought them down to the Balaton, and they go swimming and try and cool off. Although the water is pretty shallow at the moment, the Balaton suffering the same sort of fate as the Danube, I would say. Although there is actually a little bit of good news about the Danube. So the current energy situation in Hungary, according to the fantastic website Hol a Dele, and whoever did the graphics for it, they need to get a prize because it's just totally awesome. Very minimalist, very cool. So currently Hungary is using 7,848 megawatts, and we are producing 6,698. So we are importing 980 megawatts. The imports are coming from Austria, from Slovakia, from Ukraine and from Romania. But we are exporting to Slovenia, we are exporting to Croatia, and we're also exporting a little bit to Serbia. The most important thing though is the nuclear power station. It is still open. We are down to 224 megawatts, so about the same as yesterday, down from the usual 2000. So again, we're operating at about 11%. And the good news was that overnight, the Danube, at least according to our Prime Minister Peter Magyar, we were 1.5 centimeters away from having the final part of Paks turned off. Luckily, we never dropped below that. We never got to the point when it would have to be shut off entirely. And in fact, in Budapest, as one of the commenters wrote yesterday, thank you for that, our actual water level went up by about 10 centimeters. So that is a very good sign, I think, that the water is starting to rise, at least in Budapest. And while, of course, Paks is 100 kilometers south of Budapest, if the water level is rising here, I expect it eventually to be rising there. When it comes to energy, right now 81.8% of our energy is coming from solar, 3.3% from a nuclear power station, 10.4% from fossil fuels, 2.6% from other renewables. So we're hanging in there. The huge number of solar farms definitely helps us out. The other big news though today is to do with our state media, specifically MTV. So that would be Hungarian television, not the music station. So MTV. So this morning they published information that actually they found someone who's going to be working there. And it's amazing. The people that they named as editor-in-chief of everything, it would have been a man called Gábor Hajdu, and the person who would be reading news is a man called Miklós Borsa, someone who was on TV actually there at MTV about 10 years ago. Now, it didn't take too long for Hungarians to look into this guy and say, wait, hang on, this guy, he used to work for Lőrinc Mészáros. Now, if you don't know, Lőrinc Mészáros is Hungary's richest man by far, and he is also the former classmate, as in high school classmate, of our Prime Minister, Viktor Orbán. And this newsman, Gábor Hajdu, was formerly his communications expert. And as soon as people started complaining about that, our Prime Minister, Peter Magyar, went on to one of the social media platforms and effectively left a comment that said, I don't believe he will be. He left a comment saying, Nem hinném, which means, I wouldn't believe it. And not soon after that, we got news that MTV has withdrawn the offer of a contract to both individuals while they continue looking for someone to run state media. Now, I'm not quite sure how this search is going, but it's clear it's not going that well, because if they end up with someone who has obvious connections to, one of the main bogeymen to do with Peter Magyar, one of the people I'm sure he dislikes a lot, and that would be Lőrinc Mészáros, a man who he has accused many times of enriching himself from having close contacts to the Prime Minister and therefore winning tenders and contracts for his numerous companies. So that's where we stand at the moment. I'm not sure how the process is taking place. It's very unclear. I don't know who is searching for what and what positions they're looking to fill. I still have a few friends at MTV. I worked there for a very short period of time. a long time ago. And they also, when I spoke to them, they said that they're not quite sure how this search process is taking place. And in fact, both of them that I spoke to, they're both on holiday, enjoying the sun by the Balaton, just like I am. That's all. If you like my stuff, give me a like, give me a share. Thanks.